But I've had enough.
My whole clique about to fuck you up. Population, we are not the same. Again, the win and take everything. Logging in, make my picks, I'm about to get this spread. It makes me harder than Candace Parker giving me head. Rage bed, if I don't win, then I'ma come pick you up. Carpooling to the bridge, if we a fam, then we all jump. Becky got the hoe, she rolls her knees or ends up dead. Whatever it takes, I'm trying to make this money with my friends. WNBA season, so much free you won't believe. Join in Discord, you can pay a top support and more. At least I'm kidding, we really winning the ghost of the industry. Johnny and Clyde, they don't want the smoke, we taking all the money, ain't no selling now. Population, we are not the same, we do this every day now. Everybody say, fuck you, PrizePicks. Fuck you, PrizePicks. Fuck you, PrizePicks. Fuck you, PrizePicks.
But I've had enough.
Fuck you, PrizePicks. You can keep your rotten taco. Fuck you, PrizePicks. Robin Johnny, that's tomato. Fuck you, PrizePicks. And if you really wanna win, fuck you, PrizePicks. Come and rock with population.
Fuck you, you piece of shit. Fuck you. Fuck you, you piece of shit.
To say that our luck has officially turned around, guys. We are back, baby. We are fucking back. We're back. Clap.
That's right, fellas. We are back. When you thought you had the last of the Balking Dead this year, nah. We have a star-studded cast as we bring in two people who I respect in this shitty world of titty cappers. As being the only MLB on Pub Sports Radio today, we're going to make sure we talk sides, totals, and you know we got the props part covered. This is 2 championship series games going today, guys, as we have game 2 with the Rangers, who are now up in the series 1-0 after the gym put together by Jordan Montgomery and the Rangers last night, as well as game 1 in the Diamondbacks Phillies series with the Philadelphia kid Zach Gallen going home to square off versus the Phillies ace Zach Wheeler. We have a lot to get to on this Monday afternoon. And before we bring on our guest today, do me a favor and smash that like button if you do like what you're hearing. And if you're new to this channel, make sure you subscribe as well. Put your best bet in the chat as hashtag WeBePubbing in it, so I do know which comments to scroll through at the end. Without further ado, guys, let's bring on our first guest. And he has been the only person to ever come on the Balking Dead and talk pitching props with me, as I found this man makes me a better capper. As steel sharpens steel, and you know who I'm fucking talking about, guys. And that's Spin Doc motherfucking Sports. How you doing, my guy? Glad you could make it in between your conference calls today.
Doing good. I still got, hey, I'm not ready to let it go yet. I still got my homer hanking in the background. The playoffs may be over for the Twins, but we broke our 19-year streak, so it's been good. Just coming off a very lucrative weekend in NFL props, and ready to give the people some playoff props. I mean, I know it's technically NFL season, but I mean, look, I know where I spend the majority of my time, Cap, and it's on this because this is what I love. I mean, NFL is cool. Other sports I do are cool, but come on, K-props are my passion.
Man, yeah, I'm right there with you. Everyone's like, "What's your NFL props?" Which one, bro? I'm on the Astro game hard, doubled up yesterday. Everyone's like, "NFL?" I'm like, "Nah." We jumped on that live bet stream and we were all talking baseball. Who the hell wanted to watch the Bills game until the fourth quarter when it got interesting? So, shout out to the chat. Smash that like button. Go hit that retweet, guys. Let them know we have a impromptu baseball live stream for you guys today. The second guy, guys, of course, you already know this person very well, as he happens to be the hottest thing going right now on Pub Sports Radio. The man who actually made the Balking Dead into a legit prop show, not just a pitching prop show. Some like to call him Mike. I call him the last Megalodon living. And this man don't eat white meat unless it's some sweet, sweet vagina. Pimp slap, play himself. What up, my boy? What up?
There's an introduction. What's up, fellas? How we doing? Spin Doc, good to be on screen with you, man. I don't think I've had the privilege as of yet, so I'm excited.
Yeah, same here. It's awesome.
Let's go. Let's make this cash. We got money to make tonight.
Big money to make. We've got your home team going in the second game, so let's just get right on into the game. But before we do that, let's run through the chat, guys. We don't got a lot of people showing up right now and talking. We do got like almost 30 live. That's bullshit. Go hit that retweet. We should have 100 live up in here on this Monday, guys. And shout out to Justin McElvoy, Director 97, JT, my boy, and Ricky Bobby. We will run through all the chat in this show, throw out what you're on. We'll talk what we're on, and let's get into why you showed up. Of course, guys, this show is sponsored by PrizePicks. If you haven't gone over there and use that promo code PubSports, you will get a match deposit on your first deposit up to 100, minimum of 25. Let's talk this first game of the day, which happens to be game 2 of the ALCS, where, like I said earlier, the Astros are trailing this best-of-7 series 1-0, and we have 2 studs on the mound going today, where the Astros are a -120 first 5 and a -120 on the full game money line, where the comeback with the Rangers is at -104 first 5 to a +104 full game. First 5 total is juiced to the under 4.5, and the full game total is at a 8.5 at a pick'em. We have a very pitchers friendly umpire going today behind the plate in Mark Rippenberger. And the money line on the tickets count is Texas has 37% of the tickets, 52% of the cash, and the over has taken 58% of the tickets and 64% of the cash. For the Rangers, guys, we got Nathan Eovaldi, who has been everything and then some for these Rangers and may be one of the better free agent signings of the year. He has been one of the premier pitchers in baseball in the postseason, as he has a 6-3 career record with a postseason ERA of 2.7. And it is a little bit skewed, as he has a sub 1.6 ERA versus any other team, not being these Houston Astros, as 2 of his 3 losses have come to this team. Yeah, he did face the Astros 2 times this year, having a great game the first game and getting baptized the second. They set his props at 4.5 plus 102 on FanDuel for his strikeouts, and his outs are at a 14.5 minus 155 on MGM. The other side of this is Framer Valdez, who in his first start of the postseason this year didn't make it to the 5th inning, as the Twins, as Chris's Twins, Spin Doc's Twins, just fucking bludgeoned him for 5 earned runs. So nothing good there, guys. His last 2 starts heading into the postseason have been nothing to write home about either, as he's given up anywhere from 3 to 6 earned runs in those games as well, not making it to the 6th inning. In the type of games that were actually must-win type of spots, as the Astros did not clinch their division till the last day of the season. Framer has a 3-8 career playoff ERA, and he has seen these Rangers 3 times this year with 2 quality starts and 1 where he got baptized. He has always pitched well versus these Rangers in 15 starts. He has a 2.9 ERA, and they put his strikeout prop at a 4.5 minus 122 on FanDuel, where his outs opened up at 14.5 at minus 155 and are now to the plus money at 15.5. Table is set for you, my friend.
Okay. Here we go. Playoff baseball. All right. So I'll start with Framber. I'll start with the home team. Framber is a breaking ball pitcher, attacks people with a curveball and with a host of other breaking balls, doesn't use a fastball a lot. It's usually sinker curve. And that plays really well for him on this team, especially when he has a veteran catcher like Maldi, like he did last night, calling the game. Now, you might look at last night and you think, okay, well, Verlander only got 5 strikeouts, but he didn't pick up many of them until late. Well, okay, there were 2 reasons for that. Number 1 was because he kept trying to go outside early with his breaking ball. So if you notice, early in the game, if you go back and look at almost every first pitch to batters or second pitch, you notice that it was usually either slider, curve, something, breaking ball away. The strike zone was tight. The hitters weren't biting on it. And so he did rack up a few early counts where then he had to rely on his fastball. You're not going to get that with Framber. And you're not going to get that from an umpiring perspective with Ripperger. He does give a K boost to pitchers. He has been consistently considered a pitcher's umpire. So, and then when you go and look at the Rangers whiff rates against breaking balls versus fastballs, it's a considerable difference. You have every hitter in the Rangers lineup except for one. That's Jonah Heim, who is batting in the 6 hole today. Every single one of them has a whiff percentage of 23.7 or higher against breaking balls. Furthermore, several of them have whiff percentages of 30 or higher. That'd be Seager, Garcia, Young, and Tavares. So when I look at this one, Sharpie, you talked about it as well, about how Framber has gone deep virtually every time he's faced this team. They are much better at hitting fastballs than they are breaking balls. So if they take pitches, you have an umpire who is more apt to call strikes than the one last night, who there were a few close ones that typically got ruled against Verlander. He didn't actually start striking people out until he attacked him with his fastball. Framber actually doesn't attack outside on his breaking stuff either. It's usually low and somewhat in the zone, which if you look last night and go look at how Verlander got his strikeouts, that was actually how he got a lot of them. He didn't blow people away with his fastball because this team hits fastballs. So you also have 3 players in the lineup today for the Rangers where since the playoffs have started, despite the fact that they're undefeated and they've been just kind of barreling through everybody, still have strikeout percentages of 35.7% or higher. That's Grossman, Garcia, and Lowe. All of those are projected to face Framber at least twice, and Grossman probably will 3 times. So I think if you're playing Framber, I think that you can lean on over for damn near everything. The strikeout prop just gets a little hairy for me, especially paying juice on it, just because there is the potential for Framber to pitch his way into jams, rack up his pitch count, because the Rangers have been a little more on the patient side lately. So if Ripperger decides to not do what he's been doing and calls even a reasonably straight down the middle game, then this one could be a sweat at the end. So on the other side, I look at Evaldi, and Evaldi's a little trickier for me. Go back and look. The Astros have been in 7 consecutive ALCSs. Go back and look in game 2, regardless of who they faced. And it's not the best comparison, but go back and look at what their strikeouts were in almost every single one of those. 3, 2, 2, 1, 0, I think, for Tyon last year. They do adjust quite quickly. They especially adjust after they lose game 1. So I have a slight lean on the under for Evaldi, but this one comes out really, 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 really close for me. So
I hear you there. I hear you there. Mikey Mike, what you looking at in this game?
Yeah, what a great game here to start it off, and it's afternoon action to kind of get us teed up for, Red October, and of course that Monday night football game here. But couple of thoughts. The first one I was looking at here is Houston's ability in Mondays, for whatever reason, to go over the number. 18-3 on Mondays to go over the number. They go over by like 4 runs a total in a game, 3.9 to be exact. Also, a major league-wide baseball trend. Home favorites after the first round of the playoffs are 22-12 to the over as well. We've seen a ton of unders already, Major League Baseball. Just looking at the score caps, you can see every game seems to be, including yesterday's 2-0 spot. But I do not think we see that today. And then as I started to kind of dig into my hitting prop dashboards, I kind of like had my eyes pop out on my head going, holy cow. I mean, the numbers galore. Everyone, these two pitchers have seen both of these lineups pretty consistently. I like what Spindock had to say there about the ump as far as that's being said. I did have that. He's got a very large pitching zone. He favors Major League Baseball pitchers more than anything. He's got fewer walks than anybody else in Major League Baseball as well. So very much a pitcher-friendly day. But a game that I expect to go over. I'm locking in that over at 8.5. I got it at -105 already. I expect the roof to be closed. It's going to be, kind of typical fall weather for baseball down there in Texas. But I don't want to oversimplify this thing here. For me, I think the zigzag theory, as much as I don't really try to make plays based on that alone, I think it makes a lot of sense here. I think that they're trying to outsmart people with this number. You talked about where the juice is with this game right now. And as I look at this number, I see 61% of the bets, 53% of the cash. It's almost a 29,000 ticket sample specific to that Astros side of things. There's been slight downtick, but I kind of marginalize that. When you look at the Texas side of things, clearly the money suggests bigger bets are coming in on the Texas Rangers. They moved that line from +105 to +106. I think Joe Public's going to come to this game and see that Texas hasn't lost a game all postseason. They're plus money, and they're just either going to keep riding the train if they already took Texas at plus money. I can't fault anybody for that. Kind of ride that thing until it bucks. But in this case here, I just think the Astros have too much experience, too much talent. Texas has been kind of canceled out all season. I think since May, and I said this yesterday, everyone's been saying Texas is going to miss the playoffs. I don't know who came up with that stupid hot take, but what a bunch of ridiculousness all the way back to May for a team that's done nothing but contribute and produce runs. I did talk earlier today about this factor in Major League Baseball when it comes to hitting. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it or not, but doubtful home runs. It's a real thing. And what they do with this doubtful home runs factor is they look at ballparks and they compare the size, which is beyond ridiculous. I'm a hockey guy. I don't know why they don't have consistent metrics as they build these stadiums. The football field, you don't have one field that's 105 yards and another field that's 95 yards, but in baseball, they let it go. And Texas Rangers, as much as their guys are killers and hitting the ball all over the place this year, they lead the league in doubtful home runs. When you put their ballpark and the average distance these balls have traveled against any other ballpark in Major League Baseball, it ranks the highest in terms of being suspect. Now, what does that mean as far as how we relate to this game? I still think we're going to see those Houston bats get the job done. I did a deeper dive on the pitching side. You guys know I'm not the K-prop guy, but I think the advantage is for Framber Valdez versus Eovaldi. Eovaldi's 2-3 in his last 5 starts, as is Valdez. Here's the difference maker. In 20.2 innings pitched for Eovaldi, he's got 16 Ks. In 31.1 innings pitched, Valdez has 31 Ks. He's showing much better command. His 3.73 ERA versus 4.79 with Eovaldi. And Eovaldi, if you break his numbers down even deeper when you specifically look at those numbers, he's just kind of find a way to get beat up by Houston. Granted, in his Major League professional postseason debut this year, 13 2/3 of an innings, he's let up 2 runs. Pretty substantial, but he does have a 9.71 OPS when it comes to Houston. Push comes to shove, kind of how did I break down this game? I'm taking the Astros. I'm taking the over. And here's a guy that I'm going to kind of take a look at to be fair and kind of look at both sides of this thing. I always try to say, come up with a story on both sides where you can try to figure out what's going to make the most sense for you. I'm going to go to an RBI prop today in this game. There's a couple spots that I like. The one that I'm going to go to, and he cashed with us last week, is Mitch Garver. His RBI number is plus 175. This man continues to abuse left-handed pitchers like it is his job, and you could argue it is his job. He's got a 22.6% walk rate against lefties. Little suspect. That does concern me in that 5 spot, but with Garcia, Grossman, Seager, and Simeon in front of him, there's going to be guys on base. Now, he's not a strike guy. He hits. He's not a ground out guy. He hits. He's not a soft contact guy. He produces against left-handed pitchers like nobody else in Major League Baseball. I got that at plus 175. A couple other spots that I was looking at as I started breaking down this game even further. I like Altuve. I think Altuve, certainly is a guy that's been showing ability to abuse Eovaldi. He's got a 1.078 OPS. He's got 5 home runs in 31 at-bats. You guys know my recipe when it comes to this hitting successes. I've seen the guy a lot. I'm comfortable with how he gets it done, and I've shown previous results. Altuve with 38 at-bats, 11 hits, 5 home runs, 5 RBIs, 289, but he's in the 1 spot, so that concerns me a little bit. I think it's either going to have to be leadoff or bust. I certainly like what I see with Tucker. Altuve, Tucker, and Alvarez are all guys that, certainly feast better on left-handed splitters. And we know that Eovaldi likes to throw that splitter to the lefties. As a right-handed pitcher throwing to lefties, 31.3% splitter rate versus 25% against righties. And these guys find a way to get contact with it. So I couldn't be mad at anybody that wanted to jump on that Tucker side of things as well. Last spot that I would look at here that I am going to play, officials are Houston, the over 8.5, the Garver RBI, and I'm going to go to Corey Seager. So I'm kind of picking on this Texas side of things, but the number that I like is the walk. Him to get a walk. I haven't played a walk prop all season, but I'm going to take a shot at it at plus 155. Why? Because he's dominant. He dominates the shit out of everybody. And if you pitch to him, he's going to mash you. And if you don't pitch to him, you got to walk him. And I think that,
they might put a 4 up at any given fucking time, bro. If there's somebody on second and he's up the bat, Dusty's not pitching to him. That's a fucking great look.
So I took that at 155. As much as I'm not a baseball guy, I'm not a pitcher when it comes to baseball either. What I do know is every time you look at the highlights or the recaps of these games, Seager's kicking ass. And what do? You got to minimize that. Maybe you have to pitch to him later in the game, but at least for the early through here, the first 2 to 3 looks at it, Fromber's got a good opportunity to walk this guy off the hop. So I'm going to take that walk at plus 155.
Man, I think that's a great look right there personally. Me personally, I thought I wanted nothing to do with this game, as my whole thing is, what do we get from Eovaldi? I do expect a lot more than his past history has shown. And you brought it up, Mike, and you brought the reason why I think Evaldi's going to have a good day today. His splitter. That's just something I've learned to pick on with these Astros throughout the last few years of betting K props all the fucking time. That's been the one pitch that gives them problem. Funny now how Eovaldi has used that usage has jumped up 8% from last year, and he dominated them. And what did you say? Gave up 2 runs versus them in 9 innings this year. One of them was strictly off the IL where he did get hit. He didn't have no rehab games, wasn't even ready to get, he was just going out there to throw some pitches. If Eovaldi showed up and has his splitter dancing, I think he hangs in there, guys. I really do. And he is the question mark for me. I thought, man, how do I back Valdez? Do I really want to back Valdez at a minus 155 to his 14.5 outs? He burnt me on his outs last week, but that was plus money. And I know I didn't want to pay minus 155 for, if he goes 5, he's going 5.1. And I'm going to take a full unit, guys, on that over 15.5 outs at plus 115 for our boy Valdez. When I looked at him, yes, he's had a few bad games, but if there was a recipe for Valdez to go out there and dominate, guys, it's these Texas Rangers. In 12 of the last games that he has faced these Texas Rangers, he has gone 6+ innings in 11 of those games. This is a no-brainer bet for me. Thank you for the plus money. I don't want to pay the juice. If your book is making you pay the juice, I get it if you want to get on it like that, but I do pay attention to my wins and losses. And minus 155, like I said, if he goes 5, he's going 5.1, in my opinion. So you guys have anything else to add on to that before we head on into the other game?
No, sounds good. I think it's just managing the numbers. You know, it's an early game for me, so I've got a few more plays than maybe normally. But that being said, you know, there are even money, plus monies, and one low juice spot. So manage the bankroll appropriately. You know the deal.
I know it says 2022. I don't give a damn. I had to find a Red October shit for my boy Mike and his team. So yeah, get in where you fit in. You know, is what it is. And this. Man, I actually like both these pitching matchups. I like this one a whole lot more, as I have 3 fucking bets in this game, as we're going in. We're going in. No tension, though. No tension, because I think a lot of us, or at least me and Spin, I think, are going to be on the same side. I don't know about RBI Mike over here wanting to put his bats down my pitchers' throats, but we shall find out.
Man, shut up, man.
Now, guys, we get to talk the second game of today, guys, which happens to be game 1 of the National League Championship Series, with the kid who grew up 15 minutes from the stadium in Zach Gallen facing off versus the Phillies ace Zach Wheeler. The Phillies are a decent favor in this one, coming in at a minus 120 on the first 5 run line and a minus 164 full game. And the comeback on the D-backs first 5 is a plus 136 on the money line, plus 138 full game. First 5 total is now juiced to the over 3.5, and the full game total is now dropped to a 7. The money and the tickets count in this game is Phillies have 83% of the tickets, yet only 49% of the cash. And the under 7.5 has 57% of the tickets, yet 78% of the cash. And like I said, it's moved now from a 7.5 to a 7. The umpire in this is Andy Fletcher, who is considered the least consistent umpire in baseball today. Yeah. First side of this equation in this game is Zach Gallen, a top 3 Cy Young candidate this season, making his 3rd postseason start. All that have come this year, all coming in the underdog role, yet this man just keeps fucking shoving. Other than the first inning in the Brewers game in his first ever playoff start, he has looked the part, and he's exercised his demons last week versus the Dodgers and in Chavez Ravine. This will be his 2nd time that Gallen has got to see these Phillies this year. We're back earlier in the year. He went 5.2 innings of 2-run ball in Philadelphia. Whereas props set at in this game is 5.5 plus 115 on MGMs for his strikeouts, and his outs are a 14.5 minus 155 on BetMGM. The other side of the pitching matchup is Zach Wheeler, who has an elite 2.6 playoff ERA in his career, yet is only 2-3 in the win-loss department and a total of 7 starts. Wheeler has seen these D-backs 2 times already this year with a quality start in both games, giving up 1 to 3 runs respectfully and 7 to 3 strikeouts depending on the game. They have his prop set in this one, 6.5 minus 110 on DraftKings for his strikeouts, and his outs are now at a 16.5 minus 135 on BetMGM. As we got your team going, Mike, the table's set. Sides, totals, props. What you looking at?
Oh man, I got a sneeze that's like right on the edge. Let's see if I can't fight this thing back here as we go through this thing. But get out of town.
Can you feel the tension? I can. I can feel it down in my plums.
Feel it in my plums, baby. It's Red October. Here we roll. Look, here's how this series is going to go. If Zach Gallen doesn't go 7 innings today, this series is over. That's it. Kaput, shit to bedtime, pack it in. Nice job, Arizona. But it's not going to happen. And the reason I say that is specifically because of the bullpen advantage. Phillies bullpen, going back to September, has been the number 5 bullpen in Major League Baseball right now. You've got a team with wheels who is wheels, right? I mean, here's the thing about pitchers that go, and you guys can talk more on the pitching side of things here. I just get excited about my boys here. When you got pitchers that go 100 innings or more, they measure a lot of metrics, as you guys well know. Location numbers is where I'm going to focus in on with Wheels. Wheels, top 6 pitcher with qualifying metrics over 100 innings pitched, not just some slobbo that came up for a replacement game and had 3 good innings, but over 100 innings represents a substantial sample size, and Wheeler is top 6 in location. He's finding the mark. He's finding the target. I had to take his over 16.5 outs. I think it's a situation where we're going to see low-scoring game. I don't expect there to be a lot of runs in this game, period, which made it a lot harder to kind of face the hitting side of the prop. When you look at Gallen versus the Phillies, their OPS for the Phillies is 660, very much subpar. When you look at the other side of the house, the Arizona Diamondbacks aren't doing much better. But what I will say is Wheeler, when he's a favorite between minus 125 and minus 250, guess what that Phillies record is? Go ahead, Sharpie, guess. Minus 125 to minus 225 favorite. What's the Phillies record? I'll tell you, Sharpie. 9-0.
90% or better. Oh, God damn.
9-0. Both these teams are not hitting in the top 10 OPS going back to September. So definitely going to be a suspect game. Now, a lot of guys I know will favor some of these names that they've been seeing kind of all preseason and all midseason here as well, like Corbin Carroll. Well, guess what? Corbin Carroll, 0 for 5 against Wheels. Not getting the job done. Ketel Marte is a guy that concerns me a little bit. So does Christian Walker, especially in the boo-boo position at the 4. But I'm going to take a flip side here. I'm going to go to the other side of the equation. It's his birthday. It's Philly's favorite son. I ranked top 3 most important people in Philadelphia as such. Ben Franklin, we know what he did. We got Bryce Harper, number 2, and then we got Jalen Hurts, number 3. Bryce Harper's birthday today, his RBI is plus 190. His home run prop is plus 450. This guy, since coming back from an injury, has 18 home runs, a 986 OPS. When you look at it pre-injury, he only had 3 home runs. Why not get it done on his birthday? It's a big opportunity. He feeds and feasts in big game moments. I'm going to take them both. I'm going to take the 190, the plus 450. And here's the thing about this game as far as the side. I see a lot of guys getting cute with the -1. It's going to be a tight game. The scoring suggests maybe a 3-2 or a 2-1 type of game. I don't want to have my money tied up the entire game for a push. That's bullshit. I'm going to spend the extra quarter to 30 cents on the dollar, and I'm just going to take that Phillies money line spot. They're home. It's Red October. You do not mess around in South Philly. That place is going to be rocking and rolling, and it's going to be a very tough environment for the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Oh, look at you loading up on there. Well, I'm on one of your bets, but like I said, I got a 3-pack going in this one, so we'll see where our boy Spin Doc is at, and then I'll drop the bomb.
Yeah, so to your point, Sharpie, looking back at when Wheeler did face this team, more specifically when he faced them in Philly. So for the season, Wheeler throws his slider 14.4% of the time, and the reason why he does that is because he throws it almost exclusively against lefties. He's thrown 455 sliders this year. Only 36 of them have been to right-handed batters. The remainder of them have been to left-handed batters. So D-backs in that first game, actually in both first games, went a little bit lefty heavy. Tonight they have 4. So it's 4-5, and it's reasonably similar to the last one that they had. Now, the one thing that I will say about the Diamondbacks, and part of this, and I talked about this early in the season. I talked about it for quite a while before the season began about why they are going to be a team to watch. And the one thing was Joe Mather, their hitting coach. One of the things that he stresses, besides making contact, which they do in an elite level, is to learn from past situations, learn from mistakes. That's why you don't see very many pitchers. In fact, Wheeler is one of them, where you don't see many pitchers face them multiple times and have that many strikeouts. So I'm not going to say that Wheeler doesn't go out here and pitch a good game. When you go look at his postseason history, you should have no other expectation other than that he's going to pitch a good game. He's only allowed more than 3 earned runs in a postseason start one time, and that was in Game 2 of the World Series last year when he allowed 4 in 5 innings at Houston. At home in the playoffs, he has never allowed more than 2 earned runs. Never. And so for me, I look at this in a couple different ways. Number one is I definitely think that this will be a low-scoring game. So I think that either first 5 or full game unders make a lot of sense. I'm not really ready to take Wheeler's strikeouts yet, just because a 6.5 for the 3rd time facing the Diamondbacks team. Like I said, I'm not debating whether or not he's going to go get him out. I think if you're looking at Wheeler, the outs prop has a lot more value than the strikeout prop does. Yes, he's done it in his last 2 postseason starts. I'm aware of that. But this Diamondbacks team, hitting wise, learning from past starts, learning especially if you give them this much time to prepare, learning a pitcher's sequence, they're just elite at it. And so that's why I think if you want to take a small shot on the strikeouts, you can. Sharpie brought it up with Fletcher. Fletcher worries me a little bit just because he's so inconsistent. The other thing that he has, especially if you want to look over here, is he also has one of the lowest favoritism rates in all of baseball. And what I mean by that is umpires are also graded based on the favorability of their calls to the home team versus the road team. And actually, most of Fletcher's calls throughout the year, he's in the 9th percentile. That means that most of his calls have been either neutral, or when there have been calls that favored one side or the other, they have favored the road team. And so I think if you want to take a small shot on Wheeler under strikeouts, you certainly can. I would not be surprised if he goes over for strikeouts, under for strikeouts, under for earned runs, and over for innings. On the Gallen side, I think you have to look at the opposite. Gallen has, as Sharpie mentioned, has been pitching pretty lights out as of late, doesn't walk anybody, and also has a 65th percentile. This is for the whole season, and it's been even better lately. Chase rating. So getting guys to chase above league average. The Phillies, despite the fact that they've been better down the stretch and in the Braves series, they still chase at a 31.5% clip, which is almost 3.5% above league average. You factor that over the course of an entire season and how many pitches that is, that's a lot of chase. And when they do chase, they make contact 3.5% less than league average. They're under 55%. And actually, they have the second lowest contact rate outside the zone of every team in the postseason. The only one that has lower, we got to be number one in something, baby. My Twins, we got to be number one in something because we're not being number one in the playoffs. So where I go with this is I think that Gallen's over outs prop makes sense. I think Gallen's under earned runs prop make a lot of sense. And I'm totally with both of you guys in that there are just a lot of ways to attack this game. So the only thing that I think, like if I told you that I thought Wheeler was going to have a really good start today, you'd probably be asking me, okay, so Wheeler over strikeouts, right? I don't think he strikes that many guys out because the 3rd time against this Diamondbacks team, it's hard to do that, but he's still projected based on all of his runs, hits, walks, all of those props, he's projected to smack. So like the storyline script that I see playing out here is under strikeouts, a lot of quick outs, and an overall really, really good start by both pitchers. So under all things under in this game for me.
I'm pretty much right there with you, except for the outs, not under, because I'm going over. And let me tell you, I tripled up. And like I said last night, guys, if you tuned into the live bet stream on the NFL right here with Pub Sports Radio, and we'll have another one tonight for the Chargers game. Shout out to my Chargers, yo. But I gave out the first 5 out of 4 at a minus 125 last night in this game. Now that shit's gone, and I'm not here to sell you a fucking ghost ticket, guys. So let's talk about the other 2 bets that are still there. And I'm taking both guys outs over, guys. I got 14.5 at a minus 145 for Zach Gallen, as well as 16.5 at a minus 120 for our boy Wheeler. I've talked about how the Astros and the Phillies are the 2 teams who soak their infield more than anyone else, which means double plays and singles that are smoked off the bat are now slowed down and now an out instead of a single. We have 2 dominant guys going, guys, in game 1, where there is leashes on both sides and not technically must wins, and they have both earned the respect from their coaches to have a bad inning, giving up 2-3 runs. Granted, I don't want that being on a fucking under first 5. They've earned the respect to have a bad inning and be put back out there and get the ship right back in line. And 14.5 is stupid on a guy like Zach Gallen, especially in a game 1. The guy's earned the leash. He's pitched in some pretty freaking hostile environments. He just got done pitching a great game versus the Dodgers, where he's never pitched well at in Chavez Ravine. Now, this will be the most wildest place I think he's pitched in, but this guy understands what he's about to see. Is like I said, he grew up 15 miles away from the stadium. You don't think he's been to these playoff games? You don't think his parents took him? He knows what to expect. He's ready for this spot. And I don't want to side when I think both guys are going to shove. I think both these guys go 6+ innings. And like I did with the Astros-Rangers game, I talked about if you could parlay all 3 of them up yesterday with Montgomery's outs, Verlander's outs, and the under first 5, it's the same way. I got to capitalize in these spots. I think both these guys fucking shove. And just like yesterday, I said, I don't want to be on a side when I think both these guys shove. And you want to put one of these guys out at a minus 140. And granted, it's a minus 155 now. I still would bet that Zach Gallen should go 5 innings in his sleep. I get it. It's the Phillies. But nah, this is their ace. This is this guy's been a dog. If you read the reports, it's nothing but bone chilling. Oh man, they don't expect nothing from us. They just think we all suck. And man, Noli went to those playoff games versus Diamondbacks, bro. And they just had this confidence. They have a real cool confidence about them. And the Phillies, they believe they are that fucking team as well. And I'm the first to tell you good pitching beats good hitting any day of the week. And I expect elite pitching from both sides. So there it is. I'm on the under 4, first 5 at a minus 125. And both guys out 14.5 minus 145 for Gallen and 16.5 at a minus 120 for Wheeler. And they're all full unit bets as I expect. I'm not looking to go 2-1. I want to go 3-0. I have this game scripted. I have both guys shoving. And yeah. Let's fucking cash some tickets. Let's recap anything that you are looking at bets-wise, anything that you have put in or anything like that. Spin Doc, do you have anything locked in for the day?
Yeah, I'll just make it official since I talked about it on here. With you on the under first 5, with you on the outs, and then also Wheeler under 6.5 strikeouts. And the only reason why, 2 reasons why I say that. Number 1, third time facing them. Number 2, the rest of his props indicate that he's much more likely to smack the outs prop. And, one thing that you have to remember is when you see a strikeout pitcher in the playoffs, is that pitcher capable of dominating or having a good / quality start if they are not striking people out. You look at a pitcher like Spencer Strider. In the postseason, he's not really capable of doing that yet. He's still young. You look at a guy like Justin Verlander. Justin Verlander only struck out 5 last night, but he had a really, really good start. Jordan Montgomery had a really, really, really good start. And these guys aren't striking out 5, 7, or 7, 8, 9, 10 guys. That's more of a regular season thing. Not that guys don't strike out, 10 times in the playoffs, because they do, but You have the highest contact team in the league facing a team for the third time when they've been even more elite at contact in the playoffs. And now we get a 6.5 against a guy that we think is going to pitch to contact to go deep in the game. 6.5 is way too many strikeouts. I would not be surprised if he gets 5. I would not be surprised if he gets 6, but unless Nola's going to go like into the 8th inning, which don't get me wrong, he could, this is just a lot of strikeouts for a Diamondbacks team that's already seen him twice, has a lot of film, a good scout. It's just one too many for me.
I hear you there. I'm not looking at his strikeouts personally. I like to go what's going to hit first. And Mike also brought up as how elite their bullpen has been. And God forbid he runs into a situation in that 5th, 6th. You know they're going to the fucking bullpen. They're not going to – if the game's close, bro, you got to do what you got to do. And one thing I learned from this Phillies coach is he's adapted. Last year he made some mistakes, and he watched the Braves coach go to his bullpen in key situations, not in the 8th and 9th for his setup man and his closer. What'd you see the Phillies do in that last series? They unloaded Kimbrel and all them before the 9th in the key situations in the game. The guy's adapting, bro, and you cannot knock a guy who learns. And we know this Philly coach is adapting. We have not seen this Arizona Diamondbacks guy sitting here for quite a while. So, Mike, what do you have locked in on both of these games?
Yeah, so I loaded up here for baseball, and then we're going to hammer away at football tonight. But I started off the card. I've got that Houston Astros spot. Just think, Framber's the better guy here in terms of head-to-head competition. I got that at -120. I've got the over 8.5 at -105. I've got Garver to get the RBI at +175. He's a lefty killer. He feasts on lefties like I feast on ribeyes. And I got Corey Seager as a walk at +155 today as well. Flipping over to the Phillies. I'm not going to mess around with that -1. If that's the thing that works for you and that gets you jacked up, so be it. I don't get jacked up about a tie, and I don't want my money tied up in a tie. I'm going 9-0 with Wheels when he's between a -125 and a -225 favorite. I got that -155 for Philadelphia. And I got that Wheeler over 16.5 outs. That's a -120 number. The birthday boy is going to bring me home. He's the second most important guy in Philadelphia history. Bryce Harper, +190 on his RBI, +450 for his home run. He is smashing and mashing. He feasts in big moments, and none bigger than tonight on his birthday. I love the birthday play. I think guys have huge games when it comes to that type of stuff. They're in a good mood. They're feeling loose. They're excited. And it's this Diamondback spot here. I might add that first 5 under 4 in this game as well. But what concerns me is this Gallen situation. I just think they're going to have to leave Gallen in a little bit longer. Conversely to what some of you guys are thinking here as far as, will they pull him? Yeah, Philly's got the depth, and they're not afraid to do it. But I don't think they can afford to use up their bullpen pieces in Arizona this game. And that's where things get in trouble. That 5th inning, that bottom of the 5th inning, when Bryce Harper's coming up to bat for his second or even his third time of the day, probably be his third time of the day. You got guys on base in front of him, and then bang, the Philly earthquake meter goes off because it's an eruption in South Philadelphia. Be there, be ready. It's going to be a great game.
Yeah, speaking of be ready, guys, Yordan Alvarez struck out 3 times last night, okay? He's batting .767 and 14 at-bats off of Eovaldi, okay? You got to get something on that dude somehow, some way today, bro. I'm not a big hitting props guy, but the dude's going to get his get back, bro. Like, that's happening today.
And the other thing that you heard, I think all three of us in some fashion talk about are guys and props that, looking at it on the surface, when you compare past history or you compare like basic trends, the stuff that the book gives you, because they want you to use that so that you take their sucker play. When you look at all of those, the one thing to always keep in mind is that in the playoffs, in a postseason spot like this, the worst thing that you can do is just go and look at past history and say, oh, well, he struck out against him, 4 out of 7 times. So that means he's going to strike out, this and this today. that don't mean shit at this level, guys. I'm sorry. It doesn't mean anything. So yeah, you can go down the Phillies lineup and look at their K percentage against Gallen. Understand that it doesn't really mean a whole lot in this situation. This is like apples to oranges. And, if you did that so far in the playoffs, because I actually keep anecdotal track of that, because we know a lot of titty cappers just use the basic book trends. If you did that, you would have, I believe, a winning percentage this postseason on strikeout props of, I think, 35. So when you don't do that, when you fade it, and when you bet smart, like what we're telling you to do, obviously you know what percentage you win at.
Yeah, a very good percent.
So again, all those like super key trends that you see the books give you before you bet a game, before you click on OK. Why do you think they do that? Do you think that they do that because they're so nice and so congenial and they want, oh, wait, hold on, don't do this because you might save money if you don't, right? That's not why they do it. They give it to you so that you bet their preferred side. It's a psychology trick.
Right.
Yeah. One thing I did forget to throw in there that I wanted to touch on, because I seen somebody on a stolen base prop, why I was so heavy on that first 4 last night and still like the 3.5 under as well. Wheeler and Gallen are in the top 7 percentile of not being stolen on. These guys have very good fucking times to their catcher. Their catcher's got some of the elite pop times. They ain't been stolen on much times, guys. So I'm not looking at stolen base props. I think they're going to be able to control the running game, both of them. And like I said, ground balls, baby. Zach Gallen is a beautiful pitcher. He don't look for the strikeout all the time. He is content with a ground ball double play, and there ain't no better place to get an easy double play than Philadelphia. Okay? You think that Astros field soaked? Pay how much attention that dark black it's going to be out in front of the batter's box. It'll be all nice in the batter's box. It'll be tan, beautiful dirt. Look right in front where the ball hits down. And then everywhere else in that infield, every fucking inning gets soaked with water. You saw it last night in the Astros game. Ball smoked. Bregman gets to. Ball smoked. Pena gets to. It's like that 108 miles off the fucking bat should be through the infield. But it doesn't happen in these two places, guys. So 3 singles to Jordan Montgomery didn't hurt him. But anywhere else, he would have got popped last night, guys. So you got to know certain things, tricks of the trade, guys. Wheeler and Gallen are elite when it comes to being not stolen on. And we've got a super wet infield. So I have Valdez's outs over 15.5 at plus 115. Outs for Gallen, 14.5 at a minus 145, as well as Wheeler, 16.5 at a minus 120, where I think that is the common bet of all 3 of us, I believe.
Yep.
Yes. I
Yep.
mean, if you're looking for one bet to fucking bet, that's the one we are all on without talking beforehand, guys. So that's the one to go home and bank your fucking money on for sure. And I also have that first 5 under 4 in the Phillies game at a minus 125. Shout out to the chat, guys. We expected this to be a really short show, but no. We fucking hung out and gave you some fucking gold nuggets and some winners, guys. So Alvarez over 1.5 bases at plus 110 is our boy Justin's best bet of the day. Shout out.
If you want it, if you're on DK, it's at plus 125 now.
There you go.
Alvarez over 1.5 bases is plus 125 on DK at the moment.
Bro,
I don't know how long it's going to last.
That's I think I was looking at an RBI spot. Let me hear your thoughts, Mike. Yes, Jose Abreu does not hit Evaldi well, but we see that fucking Bregman and Alvarez fucking hit this dude very well. Jose Abubu may be the most locked in batter on this Astros team over the playoffs, man. This dude's fucking humming, and he's batting .389 this year with runners in scoring position. What's his RBI at? Tell me the sweet spot for a guy batting 177 off of a guy.
Let me pull it up. The RBI for the, so a lot of these RBIs, when I was looking at them earlier today, were kind of priced in such a manner that they would suggest it's going to be a lower scoring game. So that certainly made me a little bit nervous, but why can't I find it right now? Let's go. Where is it?
I can type it into the prop generator. I could have did you a favor. Oh, but see, mine makes me put the hyphens in, bro. There he is. Jose Abreu. Nope, that's a home run. First home run. I don't want home runs. Ribby.
Of course, as we're talking about it, my prop tool just went down. So,
what are you looking for?
His ribeye is plus 180.
RBI for Abreu, yeah.
I see the plus. It just came back up. Plus 180 for him. Altuve's plus 235. Simeon 245. I'm sorry, 185. A couple of numbers there that again tell me that they think the runs are going to be hard to come by. Your daddy Alvarez plus 155.
Abreu's hitting in the 5 hole, bro, with Alvarez in the 4, Bregman in the 3. These guys are batting 400 plus off of this guy. They're going to be in scoring position, bro. I think Abreu's the shot today, plus 180. I think I'm gonna do that one.
Now, here's the real question. The over/under, the number of buttons at the top of his uniform that are unbuttoned. Are we going 2.5? We're going 1.5.
3. He might only have 1, dude. He might have all the bushel of hairs out today.
I love the dude, but he looks like a fucking slob. I'm sorry. And the chains hanging out. Yeah, it was just
He looks
it was
like
so
an old
funny
Colombian coke dealer, bro.
No,
Yeah,
it's so funny because so many of my relatives are, I mean, they're Twins fans or they're just casual baseball fans. So during the series, I'm getting all these texts of when he comes up to the plate. They're like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" And I'm like, "You don't know Jose Abreu?" They're like, "Why is his uniform unbuttoned all the way?" I'm like, "You haven't watched many Astros games, have you?"
Shut up, man.
That's what he always does, man.
That's how his shirt looks right there, bro. Shout out to the chat, guys. Appreciate you guys all for tuning in. I appreciate you two even more. Spin Doc, let them know what you got going on, where they can find you.
Of course. So at Spin Doc Sports, NFL is in full season. Give full breakdowns, injury reports, fantasy, everything. I've done fantasy football for 20 some years now, all of it in leagues of $250 or more, dynasty, keeper, auction, you name it. So if you have any trades or any scenarios you want to run by me, please feel free. Love to talk fantasy, but yeah, find me at Spin Doc Sports. And college basketball is starting very soon. For those that don't know, I do college basketball a little differently. So I actually have 2 conferences and I'm adding a third this year, mid-major conferences. And just like, I study the hell out of that. I watch almost every single minute of every game that the whole conference plays, watch replays, all that stuff. And so in college basketball, I will tell you the value is not typically on betting Duke, North Carolina. It's on betting Towson and Charleston or, Rhode Island. And I'm going down the line here, Massachusetts, Amherst, colleges like that, because those are the ones that the computer just decides the line for the books. So what I do is I take 2 mid-major conferences and the MAC with 2 A's and the Colonial. And most of my plays are from those conferences. And so we're going to kick that off in about a month here.
There you go, fellas.
I like the MAC with 2 A's because they play on Fridays.
Sports.
MAC with 2 A's, that's Iona, that's St. Peter's, that's all those East Coast, all those little tiny East Coast schools.
Yeah. Friday night specials.
Hell yeah, I love Friday nights with the MAC.
Me too.
2 A's. Actually, both of them play on Fridays.
Look at you guys.
Yeah,
you guys are best fucking Mac buds. You guys are going to go make some macaroni and fucking cheese after this show.
The Mac with 2 A's. Sorry. The Mac.
Mike, go ahead. Let them know what you got going on, where they can find you. And thank you for joining
Oh, man, we got a
us.
big week lined up at Pub Sports Radio, but I wanted to drop in here and get the opportunity to break down this MLB card and talk a little series potentials here with the fellas. So I appreciate you, man, and thanks for putting this together. Sharpie. Spin Doc, was great to hang out, man. First time. I hope we do it again soon. And,
yeah, you and I. Same thing.
College hoops coming up around the corner. Man, there's just a lot of great things coming up here now. We got the NBA in a matter of about a week. We've got the NHL now under gear. And, of course, the NFL live stream tonight at Pub Sports Radio. Make sure you come check it out. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to break down this game. Finally got what looks to be a nice little primetime special with this Chargers-Cowboys spot. And I know there's going to be a lot of different opinions. We had a show earlier today, already had differing opinions. So should be a lot of fun to get going here, man. But shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to Pub Sports Radio. And, of course, you fellas, man. Thanks for sharing the screen with me.
Man, it looks like we started a topic with this Mac. Woo Riz is like, I played for them in 05-06. Shout out Maris.
So I have to
He's
ask.
only giving me shit because we bet a whole lot of Iona unders last
I
year.
love Iona,
guess,
man.
'cause
I don't play
he's
Iona.
like, bro, what do you mean? You know what they're talking about, Sharpie.
I don't know about this year though, with Patino making the move on down the line here. I don't know if Iona's
Not
gonna still
Iona
have
this year. No.
No.
I got to ask Wu Rizza though. So you must have played for Coach Brady, and you must have played on that NIT team then. If you were there in 06, they went to it in 06, 07, made the second round of the NIT.
Look at that. Freaking Spin Docs going back to 06.
I know my conference, man. I know my conference.
Wow,
I've studied this conference
bro.
for like 10 years, man.
Safe to say that our luck has officially turned around, guys. We are back, baby. We are fucking back. We're back. Clap.
I have way too much fun with this shit. So appreciate you guys for coming on. I know you've got to go to a conference call, don't you, Spin?
Yeah, in about 5 minutes.
You want to talk a little NFL while we got people here? Yes, no,
I can,
maybe
sure.
So. Mike?
Yeah,
Yes,
I
no,
can.
Mike?
Sure.
We're fucking here. No, might as well talk NFL. Chris, you got to go first because you got a conference call.
Yeah, I got
minutes.
about 3
talk a
minutes
little
here.
NFL.
Yeah, so a couple injury, I'll just go over a couple of injury notes and how that would pertain to your fantasy team from last week. Justin Fields is going to be doubtful because of his dislocated thumb. He might have been your only quarterback. If he's not, start looking for a replacement immediately. My personal recommendation, if he's still available, would be Sam Howell. If he's out there, obviously, if there's a better quarterback out there, take him. But for a couple other injuries that you saw yesterday, one of the big ones was it looked like David Montgomery was going to be okay after he left with that rib injury against my Bucks yesterday, but it looks like he might miss some time now. So that's going to make Craig Reynolds a really popular option on waivers. The one thing that I would tell you to not do, though, is to overpay for any Lions running backs that are on the wire. They do play Baltimore, and Baltimore is the number 2 ranked defense in DVOA. And Jahmyr Gibbs also presumes to return pretty soon from injury. And then the only other one that I wanted to note was if you are an owner of anybody on the Steelers, Deontay Johnson has been designated to return. He is going to practice this week. He will play. I think that actually opens up things a little bit more for a lot of the Steelers offense. Obviously, Matt Canada is still the offensive coordinator, which is always going to throw a wrench in things. But I think if you own any of the Steelers pass catchers, I think they actually get a boost with Deontay Johnson because it's somebody else they have to pay attention to. So those are my general thoughts for next week. If you're asking me who I like tonight, Chargers at plus money.
Chargers at plus money. There it is. Well, I appreciate you for tuning
Very
in.
nice being with you guys. Very nice to be on with you, Mike. And hope we can do it again. Good luck, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.
Make some money today, bro.
Let's do it.
Oh,
Sounds
Mikey,
good.
Mike,
Sounds good.
let's talk a little NFL for these guys. You want to set the stage, pull up the spread and all that for them, and let them know where
Sure.
the money's at and the tickets. And we don't have a show until Jimmy pops off about 30 minutes beforehand. So we've got 100 people here. Might as well as give these guys.
Yeah, we got the 7:30 start
today.
tonight, so it's going to be a ton. It's going to be a big group too. You know, they always get the Monday night game rolling with a bunch of heads popping in there. Right now, we got the Cowboys, Chargers. The total opened up as a Cowboys in a slight dog roll, and they've moved to -1. The bet percentages here: 54% of the tickets, 57% of the cash on the LA Chargers. And I don't think we're going to see that move too much more. I mean, it's going to take a substantial bet. There's 193 tickets counted in that 193,000 tickets counted in that sample. That's going to probably be about where we see the split. So it is just around a 50-50 split, maybe a slight edge to some bigger money coming in on those Chargers. And that number moved from -1 all the way to a +2 now. The total opened at 46.5. There's 50.5s out there now. The 51 was kind of the predominant prevailing number. 51% of the bets, 88% of the cash on the under 51. Again, open up at 46.5, has moved almost 5 points in that direction. And the money line, you know, kind of tough when you look at the money line. They open at -105. It's now -125. 74% of the cash is coming in on that Cowboys money line as well. And big news here, right? When you look at the teams in the setup here, Eckler is back. Austin Eckler, the running messiah for the Chargers. You know, thought Joshua Kelly would be able to find a way to make some progress when Eckler goes out. The Chargers have very much been a next man up type of team. But Kelly was nowhere to be found. I mean, they were sending out milk jugs all over California with this guy's picture on it saying, have you seen me? The guy was completely lost. Eckler coming back now is a huge move. And when you look at the side of things for the Cowboys, Dak coming off that beat down last week, 42-10 against San Francisco. Another number, excuse me, that we'll talk about is the post-San Francisco factor for whatever reason. I think it's the physicality and nature that San Francisco puts through a team. They run them through the ringer. They hit them hard. They hit them often. They finish plays strong. And teams that are after San Francisco game are 4-15 against the spread, just finding a way to lose. And again, we got this spot here where they were a 3.5-point favorite coming off that big L. On the other side of things, the Chargers are coming off a bye. They had that Las Vegas game that they were able to sneak out a victory. They won by 7 on a 6.5-point spread. They barely got through it. Now we've got this head-to-head battle. Chargers with time to prep. Cowboys coming off of a huge beatdown against San Francisco. Sharpie, what do you think?
I mean, we got Kellen Moore get back, Dave, also to be thrown in there. The Cowboys blamed that playoff loss on Kellen Moore, who is now the offensive coordinator of my not-so-San Diego Chargers, as their LA Chargers now. But there's a few things we got to talk about. Like you said, Eckler's back. And one thing Billy Briz threw out there last year that stuck with me, and I'll never forget it because it's been a must play. And granted, he's minus 160, and that may be too much juice for you. But if you're looking for a parlay piece, Austin Eckler, anytime touchdown. This guy is number 1 over the last 5 years in prime time games in scoring touchdowns, fellas. So get in where you fit in. It's at a juiced out price because they don't want you to play it. It's the same price they had Christian McCaffrey at yesterday. And Christian McCaffrey did what on the first fucking drive? Scored a touchdown. So I'm starting to think I have found the fucking sweet spot, and you just got to pay up. You just got to pay up, guys. So some of you guys look for parlay pieces. Eckler would be that spot. Now, I can't bet the fucking Chargers. I got Chargers tattooed on my head, guys. The Chargers should be 0-4 this year because of what the coach has done. We have one of the worst coaches in all the fucking game. And staring right on the other side of the field is another terrible head coach. I like to bet good head coaching. This is 2 of the worst coaches in the fucking league. Staley's gone for it on 4th and 1 on his own 20-yard line and didn't get it. And somehow our defense did not allow them to score a touchdown. That's how we've won 2 of those games. Like I said, we should be 0-4. But what's even worse is you brought up the ATS, these 2 teams playing the Niners. Win-loss, bro, I believe 1 team has won since last season after playing the 49ers the next game. Not ATS, just straight heads up. It's brutal playing the 49ers. The next week, you're fucking hurting, guys. Now, did the Cowboys play the 49ers? I don't think they played. I think they quit. I think they quit in about the first quarter. So, yeah, I don't know what to take in on that right there. I can't put no money on this. Now, last year they played. I think I was on the over last year. These 2 stupid coaches went for it on 4th down so many times and didn't get it that it was a dead under. So be very careful. You're going to be I'd look at a 4th down conversion type play because these are 2 stupid fucking coaches who are going to go for it on 4th down. So maybe that's a type of look in the game. I will be probably looking at the Chargers team total over and maybe either a Palmer or Guyton type receiving prop. As since Travion Diggs has been out of this Cowboys defensive backfield, Mike, they are ranked 30th versus the pass.
Yeah.
30th. Oh, Lord. You don't want to be ranked 30th versus Justin Old Hebo over there. Now, I am worried about his fucking broken hand. Yeah, it's not on his throwing hand, but he couldn't fucking throw the ball in the last quarter of the game versus the Raiders. It was affecting him then. So, I don't know. With Williams out, he seems to use Palmer on those deep routes. It's like he seems to catch on 3 catches, have 100 type yards. Maybe Palmer most receiving yard shot type play for me today. I have no bets locked in on it as I unloaded on baseball, and I'll look to get in on NFL. But I usually tend to pay for my information, I like to call it. Noli said it that way, bro, and that resonated with me well. I'm content watching the game the first quarter or two. I don't care if I get a worse line, a better line. It don't fucking matter to me. I don't care. It's a whole different game, and I've now paid to see how the game script is. So whether the Chargers go up by a lot or the Cowboys go up a lot, I will then live bet either Pollard or Eckler, Russian receiving yards, whoever gets down 2 scores, because they are the scat backs and they're going to just start getting mass touches, whether it be through the air or on the ground. So live bet strategy, that's please let somebody go down 2 scores and I will be on the other team downs, running back, Russian receiving. That's my game plan going into that.
Yeah, I gave out yesterday on the NFL Hub the morning there, the 11 a.m. show there, Eastern. I gave out the under 51. I'm standing by it here as well. That trend I talked to you guys about the game after the San Francisco. I want to say they're 4-8 or 8-12. I don't have it written down in front of me off the fly here, but it's an under spot. The physicality of those games just kind of leads to guys just not being able to find a way to generate offense. A lot of soft little buttercups over there in that Charger side of the house here. A lot of guys are vulnerable to the big hit. They get banged up, and they certainly don't feel like they have to go back in there and play. They feel like they got to get the hell out of there and beat the traffic. So that does concern me, but they do play that next man up philosophy. Here's a spot that I'm going to look to, and this kind of supports the under in a roundabout way. I'll kind of say a roundabout way. So the Cowboys, when the Cowboys have, recently played and rushed for less than 75 yards, the next game, it's kind of like they sway the pendulum way back to the other side. And what I mean by that is they're 6-0 against the spread. They're 6-0 straight up. This goes all the way back to 2021. So it's a bunch of, not a bunch, but there's been enough over the last 2 years sample to get it done. They only rushed for 57 yards last week. When they rush for less than 75 yards in a game, they're 6-0. They're unbeaten the following game. They also are averaging 152 rushing yards themselves in that game. The other team's averaging 96 rushing yards. So collectively, you're over 250 rushing yards. To me, that says it's going to be a ground and pound type of spot there. So you got Eckler back. They're going to want to run Eckler. They're going to want to dust off the shiny toy that's been sitting in the garage like a I don't know what. And then you got the other side of things here with Pollard. Pollard is the guy that should be, for all intent and purpose, the bell cow of that offensive running game, and he just kind of hasn't been able to get it going since they got rid of Elliott. So potential big breakout spot. And again, we see that historically they zig and they swing all the way back to the other side on the zag when it comes to a game where they weren't able to rush it. They really weren't in a position to rush it against that San Francisco team. They were just getting the shit kicked out of them. So, if you think about how you're going to come back and react, you got to establish a strong, dominant running game presence. You got to move those chains. You got to run that clock. It supports that under. Oh, and by the way, in that 6-0 against the spread spot, after they've rushed for less than 75 yards, they're 1-5 to the under as well. So I expect to see a heavy dose of running on the ground. Think about that as you're starting to look together for your props, your DFS spots. And, is it going to be Pollard? If it's not Pollard, I don't know who the hell it's going to be, but some things that I would certainly give some thought to as you guys look forward to this Monday night live game. Make sure you join us on Pub Sports Radio.
Yeah, I'm actually looking through the specials right now and trying to I want to find 100 Russian receiving for both running backs today, and get a good plus money on that. It's going to be Chargers suck versus the rush, Chargers suck versus the pass, Cowboys suck versus the pass. And yeah, so Eckler can have fucking 100 receiving yards himself, bro. It's crazy how that little freaking mega man goes. So appreciate you guys all for tuning in. Those who are tuning in just right now, we did hit baseball, recapped all of our bets at the end, and we decided to sprinkle a little NFL on that ass. Game start, fellas, in about 30 minutes. Go get a beer, get your weed, do what you got to do, and let's enjoy some baseball, cash us some tickets, and meet right back up here on Pub Sports Radio, fellas. Why? Because it's the Monday Night Live bet stream hosted by Jimmy the Bag. And
Boo-boo kitty fuck?
I am the click commander, and I will be there, as well as fucking Pimp Slap as well.
Man, shut up, man.
No, man, shut up, man. Appreciate you all. Smash the like on your way out. And don't forget to fuck your bookie.